The good cars from the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 90s, they are going to one day be revered like the 60s cars were. I think it's going to be looked at as sort of the end of an era, just as the muscle cars were the end of an era before fuel regulations. 90s, 2000s cars are the end of an era before hybridization and excessive technology. And even the Terminator, Mustang, Cobra. Those were cool. Those were really, really cool. The difference there is Ford has continued making these ridiculous big V8 cars. They didn't really go to turbocharging and hybrids yet, but I could still see those going up. But I really think that late 90s, early 2000s era is going to go up and maybe will one day be considered one of the great eras in the car.
Hey guys, welcome back and thank you for tuning in for another video. Today we're gonna be talking about the 5 reasons why the Terminator Cobras will skyrocket in price and why you need one now before it's actually too late. Terminators were only built for 2 years, right? So they were only built for 2003 and 2004. There were only 19,140 Terminators ever produced. The last Terminator to leave the plant was back in 2004. That will be 16 years ago. Imagine how many cars are left after being crashed, after being totaled. Now let's compare the Terminator to GT500s, because that was, you know, the car that replaced the Terminator Cobras. We could really say this is the last. Another thing, this is the very last real Mustang Cobra, right? It's not a Shelby. This is a Mustang Cobra. The GT500s from 07 to 2014 were 47,996 produced. Now that's not even taking into account the 2020 GT500s. So if we take that into account, there's obviously like 50,000 GT500 versus 19,000. Just think about that. How many of these cars are left on the street, are left in good condition? Now I'm gonna throw a number that is gonna be fascinating to you guys. Guess out of all the Mustangs that were built, right, from 1964 to 2019, so last year, guess what number in percentage the Terminator Cobra represents? I'm gonna give you that stat. You ready? You guess? Okay, it will be 0. And you're thinking about a number? Nope, it's not a number. That will be 0.02%. That's the number of Terminators out of all the Mustangs. And if we're thinking about, okay, well, there has been almost 10 million Mustangs ever made. And you're right, you know, that's a big number. That's where you get the low percentage. So let's compare it now to the new Edge platform, right? The 99 to 2004 Mustangs. What percentage are Terminators? You ready? What are you thinking? 5%? 10%? You know what? 2%. So Terminators are the 2% of new Edge Mustangs. So I have my data here with me, and new Edge productions were 964,377 Mustangs, and 2% were Terminators. 2%. So that will be my first reason this car is very, very rare. To talk about my second reason, we have to understand why is a Terminator so important in the modern muscle car era. I believe something that creates importance is a great story, and the Terminator story is a unique one. I'm going to briefly talk about the story of this car. Well, I don't know that many cars that were produced for only 2 years that have a book that covers a specific model. Think about this, a book with chapters and everything, not just an article. So in 1999, when the new Edge Cobra made its debut, it was advertised to have a very impressive 320 horsepower for its normally aspirated 4.6 dual overhead cam motor. But soon, owners noticed that something was off, and so they caught and drive it when they compared the 99 Cobra to its rivals, the Camaro and Trans Am.
Special Vehicle Team's Cobra runs a far more sophisticated engine, spotting the GMF body 65 cubic inches, but winding higher with 32 valves and 4 cams to make its 320 horses. But the power's not readily available.
Yeah, odd thing is that we don't really see it on the track, and you don't really feel it in the seat of your pants either. It's still impressive. The engine makes great noises, but it doesn't have the real broad, brawny torque band of the F-bodies, and it shows. You have to wind this engine out in order to get the power out of it.
And by the time you find the power, you've lost. This Cobra needed 6 full seconds to 60, while the Camaro and Firebird could make the jump in 5.3.
I'd still rather have the engine of the other two vehicles, despite the fact that it's not as sophisticated.
The Cobra was lacking in performance compared to the LS1 powered vehicles of the era. No way was the 99 Cobra making the advertised 320 horsepower. Ford had to take action and recall all Cobras sold to date to fix a faulty intake manifold and muffler that robbed the 4.6 of power. Due to this problem, the 2000 Cobra was cancelled. For 01, the new version of the Cobra was back with a few minor changes and improvement, but not enough to make the chief engineer happy, John Coletti. In 2000, they were at the Western Drive that they make every year to test the SVT's products. So in the track was Mr. Coletti driving the concept Cobra for the 2002 model, the Big Bad Cobra as he recalls. He was being chased by this Ford Focus SVT, and he says that in the straightaways he managed to pull away, but on the corners this little Ford Focus SVT will always come back to his tail, and he felt like a mosquito that he couldn't shake off. So naturally, he was pissed and he got on his radio and cursed and said, "Guys, I'm not gonna associate my name with this because this is a dog." So he went into a meeting where he said, "Guys, we need to supercharge the Cobra. We need to terminate the discussion between the Camaro and Cobra once and for all." So him and his team went to add the M112 Eaton blower to the Cobra, but slapping a supercharger is not easy. Soon they met disaster as they began to blow motors left and right. The rats of the 01 Cobra couldn't handle their dyno testing of 300 hours. These motors were blowing up after only 20 hours of testings. Their solution was to get manly rods capable of standing up to 1,000 horsepower for the motor. They put an iron block for durability, ARP, head studs, a new revised head, and the rest was history. The Cobra went to a 6-speed Tremec T56 transmission. A clean, more aggressive look from the outside. When this car debuted, it was truly a bargain. The new Cobra was quicker than the regular Corvette, and with minimum mods, with just a pulley, it would destroy the fastest Corvette of the time, the Corvette CO6. Soon the Cobra legend took life of its own. The internet was merging and videos of these cars began to appear everywhere and competing with anything you threw its way. This was the Hellcat before there was a Hellcat. The American Supra, because of the ridiculous power that it could make on the stock motor. Thanks to this car is why the Shelby GT500 came back. The supercharged CR1, the supercharged CO6, the Cobra made it cool for American muscle cars to have a supercharger from the factory. It was the real spark plug of the modern horsepower era that we all are living right now. The legacy was such that this car really never depreciated much after they came out, a true testament of the specialness of the Terminator Cobra. Prices have begun to trend up on this car. I want to say in the past 5 years or so. In the past few years, we've seen low clean mileage Terminators that have been sold in the 40K range. And there's one with 5.5 miles currently right now for sale. It's a brand new car with the wrapping inside that it is selling, that the asking price right now is $76,950. So we can definitely see a trend of prices already going up. And you know, these cars are only really gonna go up from now. The demand of these cars are high and the supply is low. Anytime the demand is high and the supply is low, is gonna boost the prices up, and we already seeing the prices of this car really take over. And let's take for example another car that really shot up in price as of recent. It's a little bit older car, it's a Japanese car, and that will be the Supra. There's a lot of comparisons to this car to the Supra due to the amazing motor, the way that both engines are capable of handling up to 1,000 horsepower. The Supra, about, I don't know, 10-15 years ago, you could probably pick one up for 25 to, let's say, 30K or 30 to 35. Try buying one right now for that amount. And for a turbo one that is clean, it's gonna be at least 60K to buy one. I've seen some for $120,000 currently for sale right now. So we've seen cars really skyrocket. Another car, it was the 1969 Ford Boss 429, the Mustang. Unique motor. Back on the 70s and back on the 80s, you could have picked that car for, I don't know, let's say it was expensive, but it was just like a Terminator right now. Terminator right now, you could pick one up in the 20K price range, and people were saying, oh, but it's expensive, I could buy a new Mustang. Look at it right now. You cannot find a Boss 429 under $200,000 because there are none. It's non-existent. Now, am I saying that the Terminator Cobra is gonna cost 100K down the future? Nope, I'm not saying that. That's not my intention. Saying that this car is gonna make you wealthy is not my intention. I don't think cars are a safe investment, but I do think that if you pay 20 to 25K right now for one that is clean, that is in good condition, you know, if you have a garage and you able to keep the miles low, you're probably gonna make some money down the road. So, in a world of 760 horsepower GT500, 460 horsepower Mustangs GT, 700 plus horsepower, and 800 horsepower Dodge Demons, 390 horsepower might seem tame, and by today's standards, right? But let's take something into consideration. When this car came out back in 2003, we've never seen a Mustang quite like this one before. I mean, sure, you could pick apart the 2000 Cobra R, but that was a very limited run car with a price tag of $54,000. So this one, the MSRP for this car was $34,000. So for $20,000, you pretty much got less things. No, that car had no AC. That car had no back seats. That car had no radio. That car was pretty much a track ready car. So when this car came out in 2003, 0 to 60, 4.5, 12.9 in the quarter-mile bone stock. These cars, there were magazines that reported this car running at 12.6 at over 111 miles per hour bone stock. That was unheard of. That was even faster than the Corvette CO6. And let's not forget about the aftermarket. Once these cars came out, an intake, a pulley, an exhaust, and you're talking about 460, 480 to the wheels. And what can you run with that type of power back then? How about the fastest, well, not the Ferrari Enzo, but you know, the fastest Ferrari besides the Enzo, fastest Lamborghini, you will pretty much destroy the CO6, which was the fastest Corvette of that time. So much bang for your buck. No, and we're not even talking about upgrading the supercharger. Because the thing about the Terminator Cobras is what they're so sought after even today is that they have a really strong battleman. They're a battleman with manly rods, ARP head studs, 4 steel crankshaft. These motors have been known to handle up to 1,000 real wheel horsepower. Think about that. A car from 03 American, you know, that could do 1,000 horsepower. I mean, it was just something unheard of. Even today, for example, this car, you know, 17 years after it came out. You could still pretty much, with everything that's coming out of Detroit right now, so you could keep up with a new Mustang GT, minor bolt-ons, keep up with new Camaro SS, a new Challenger, the 392 pretty much, you know, like high performance cars. Never gets old. This was the last real analog, you know, modern muscle car. I guess you could take the 07 through 09 GT500, but that had more nannies. Until this car, you just turn off traction control and you could just pretty much kill yourself. You know, there's no nannies. Also, if because this is a car that, you know, the platform they view, if you think about it, back in 1979, because this is the Fox body platform, this car feels very, very raw. And some people don't like it because it's not refined, but other people like myself really appreciate it. And it's just a feeling. There's nothing really quite like a Terminator. So because of those things, I really think that this car can only go up. I mean, think about it. 2 years production, built badass Battleman, you know, T56 feels great on your hand. Also the clutch, there's no help, there's no assistance with the clutch. You know, it's you pretty much doing the work like a 60s muscle car. The gas pedal, there's no assistance. It's a real cable. You pretty much open, so you feel more connected. Back end right there was dancing. We were just dancing. Oh god, this car, it just does not get old, guys. It does not get old. It's everything that, you know, you like, everything that I wanted, that I thought that the Terminator was really going to be. This is it. I'm just being honest with you guys, because, you know, this is my dream car, and did it deliver? Like, just, you know, sometimes your expectations can be so high that when you actually own the car, you're like, you know, and I'm not saying that this car is perfect. This car does have little rattles here and there, and it's not completely perfect, but oh my god, does it deliver? What an experience. And that's what I was talking about. It's just you, the blower, the gas, and just banging through the gears. There's nothing like it. There's truly nothing like it out there. You know, also this car, you know, while it is very, very raw, it's a full 60s Mustang. Well, it is very, very raw. You know, still, you still have 4 valves per cylinder. For example, I'm just sitting here at the light, and the car does not shake. The car doesn't turn off. It feels, you know, it has that modern touch. So it's the perfect blend between raw muscle car and modern performance. So those two blending perfectly. And, you know, like Doug Demure was saying in the beginning, he thinks that because this type of cars don't have that much technology in it compared to the cars that are coming out right now. Like, you know, they could go point A, point B without a driver pretty much. That this early cars from the 2000 are really going to appreciate it, and I couldn't agree more with them. Alright guys, if you guys made it all the way till the end, thank you so much. If this is your first time stopping by, please consider subscribing. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for watching the videos. Please let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think? Do you agree or disagree with me? Thank you once again, and I'll see you on the next one.